This video is brought to you by Black Moon Games. Check out their products at shop-black-moon.com. Marvel is getting a new RPG coming in 2022. They've announced it a little while ago, I guess, from now, but they also gave some more details the other day as to what the system's going to be like, how they are going to be putting out this playtest book that people can buy at the end of March to try it out and give feedback. We're going to give our thoughts on that whole process. This isn't something new. This is something that publishers do every once in a while. So we're going to give our thoughts as to whether or not we like that process of having people pretty much buy a product to test and do market research and kind of try out the rule system before they put out a final product, and then make the customers pay for a whole other finished product all over again. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about new at the store. Stick around. It's Chaotic Good Cast, episode 127. Hey everyone, welcome to the Chaotic Good Cast, our weekly geeky roundtable. I'm your host, Doug Shute, and with me are my fellow casters, Ben Higgins from Quarterstaff Games.
I thought that the dryer was shrinking my clothes. Turns out it was the refrigerator all along.
Interesting.
It's because of the food in the refrigerator.
I understand. Yeah.
It's a deep joke.
Our geek of the north, the one and only Jason Hunt.
Hello, everybody. Freaking cold here.
It's very, very cold. Actually, it wasn't too bad today. It was actually pretty warm today here. It was like 50 degrees, Ben.
It rained.
Yeah.
For like an hour here.
For the first week of December. That's crazy.
Minus 31 here this morning. So
go on.
So yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Marvel RPG that's coming out here in I think they're gonna put out the playtest of the first quarter of 2022, and then the finished copy at the end of the year. I will be honest, and I know one of the persons that are working on this game, so that's going to be really cool. Hopefully, maybe I'll request them to come on once they can kind of talk a little bit more about it in 2022. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Hit the like button down below. Maybe we can have them come on and talk a little bit more about it. I was really excited when they announced that they were working on it. So I still don't think it's public information yet, but it is really cool that they're working on it. And I'm going to tell folks, if you're listening to the audio podcast of this show and you'd like to join us every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, just search for us on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook, and you can join us live and be a part of the chat, just like all the many folks that are joining us tonight. We got Walter W., Hungry Ewok, Jody Denton, Waveman Mav. Thanks for joining us. Look at this.
We're getting quite the worldwide weather report from everyone chiming in.
So we've got Amanda Call joining us, Cal Lord. Wow, we've got quite the full house. Southern Skies AU is joining us on Twitch. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Rory's joining us, 127. You don't look a day over 80. Well, you know. It's that podcast aging that
that Grecian formula that he's using.
Exactly. Waveman Mav says, challenge of the night. How long will it take Doug to mention Mort Borg? I don't know. John says 50s today. Yeah, it was nice. It was great that
all you Americans and your quaint little thermometers.
Hey, ours go like really high. That makes them better.
You got to be hard than everybody else.
Southern Skies AU says minus 31 luxury. It was plus 38 Celsius 2 days ago after 10 inches of rain. Oh, wow.
You're basically poached at that point, I think.
Yeah. Yikes. And Walter says it finally snowed here. 18 Fahrenheit last night. Yeah, that's a little chilly. It's a little chilly. We were about that like last week. So Yeah, I'm really excited about this this week's topic. I think it'll be a good discussion. Let us know in the comments if you're in favor of this model, and we'll get to it once we get to the main feature presentation of this podcast. But first, let's get to Ben's segment, and that, of course, is new at the store. Let's roll that high-res graphic just for Ben.
Show me the pixels, really.
The sad thing is that the folks that listen to the audio podcast of this, they miss out on what makes this podcast really shine, and that is
for the audio listeners. Let me try to describe it here. Take your vivid memory of the cinematic masterpiece that is Jerry Maguire, and then run it through about 6 Instagram noise filters. And that's put a few scratches in there and maybe stutter a frame or two, and that's what we're looking at.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, let's get to Ben's segment. There you go, Ben. It's all yours. Take it away.
So first up, we actually have a new D&D book that's going to be hitting shelves tomorrow as of time of recording. So that's Tuesday for the audio listeners that'll be getting this a little later in the week. And that is Strixhaven, A Curriculum of Chaos. This is one of the Magic the Gathering tie-in source books. This takes place on the plane of Strixhaven, which is essentially a giant college for mages. A lot of people have kind of equated it to a Harry Potter style. There's 5 different colleges that work within this university, and each one specializes in different types of magic and everything. It's a really cool setting, and I don't think it actually translates well in the Magic the Gathering card game. I think it really is going to shine with this role play system. So I'm really interested to get my hands on this tomorrow. Open it up, check it out. It's got some really cool monsters in there that were created for the Magic game, which are going to have stats finally in D&D. So that's probably one of the things I'm most interested in looking at. Creatures such as mage hunters that will go after your spellcasting classes primarily. There's also a new race that they're adding called an owlin, which is basically a humanoid owl. And a lot of different player character options, feats, backgrounds, spells, magic items, lots of things that all get in there. And yeah, just a ton of magical creatures and NPCs for you to sprinkle in, even if you don't use the actual setting itself.
Now, Ben, this does have a special edition cover, if I'm not mistaken. And
yes.
I think I brought it into... There we go. Yep, we do.
Yep.
Yeah, I put it up on the screen, and for those of you that are listening to the audio podcast, it basically just looks like this flower kind of icon thing. I don't really.
It's supposed to be the seal of the college. It kind of ties in the 5 colors of magic by using the 5 pointed lotus petal kind of star thing, and yeah, but it feels a little out of place in the alternate cover line, which I think it'll look great by itself, but it will definitely stand out on your bookshelf if you have other Wizards of the Coast stuff.
It'll go great with Cthulhu because it's purple as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Southern Skies AU says if they had made it 5 color like the cards, it might have made more sense. Yeah, when I looked at it, it really didn't really make much sense to me. Like, I didn't know too much about it. I don't know much about this whole source book anyway. But like, it just usually the limited edition covers are like they're what the kids call banging. You know, they're fire.
please never use that term again, Doug.
No, sir.
You know, like
Mr. Shoot, don't ever.
They're usually, you know, let's go. Like, but I'm trying to think of any other catchphrases that I hear.
Lit, fire.
What is it? Bussin'. No, I guess you can't use bussin' for. That's only for food, right? I guess I don't know. Yeah, I think that's only when.
This is what happens when Doug is a substitute teacher. He tries to grab the lingo.
Yep, he's trying to be hip. Yeah, see, even Cal, yeah, and Scott and Walter, yeah. See, Old man shoot here, trying to keep up with kids.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, it just
I
isn't,
get what
like,
you're saying. Yeah,
usually the art is just stunning on these limited edition covers. This one just doesn't like draw me in at all.
I think this will actually benefit from the soft touch finish that they actually give the limited edition books. So they won't have that really glossy finish. It's almost like a satin or a matte finish on the book.
Okay,
I think that will benefit from it. It'll look a lot better in person than I think it does with the digital pictures that are out there. Of course, I can't say that because I haven't got it yet. So, but
even if it's like some sort of like shiny, like if like maybe you're like you said, maybe it's gonna look better in person than it does on that.
My issue, just at first glance, is it's way too much purple, and the stylized letters on either end. At first glance, it looks like Strixhaven. Until you really
silly, Jason. Tricks are for rabbits.
I know, but yeah,
it does. Yeah, it does.
If you were just to if you looked at that for a split second and looked away, it says Strixhaven.
Yes, it does.
I don't disagree.
Now I can't unsee it, Jason. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
So for anyone that was figuring that they would drop money at their local gaming store for the alternate cover, which is the only place to get the cover, don't do that because Doug says it's horrible. Doug is a friend of the Amazon, not the rainforest, the website.
It's gonna trigger my OCD like every single time I see that cover now.
One thing that I can definitely say about these books from Wizards of the Coast is it is awesome to see stats for creatures and cards that you've grown to love. That's the best part. And my dog has decided to lose his mind.
Yeah.
But like from ever since back in the beginning, I've been like, geez, where like somebody needs to do this for D&D. I want stats for all of these creatures. Like especially when they came out with the foolish goblin decks, like the Goblin Rock Sled and Goblin Sappers and all those old school, like the Mons Goblin Raiders. And I wanted stats for all of those. And now that they're finally doing it, it's amazing.
Yeah, I see, and there's a lot of chat right now going on that people really like the regular cover. Some people like the alternate cover.
I like the alternate cover. It's definitely a standout and it's different. But I like that. I don't need all my books to be exactly the same.
I just don't think it's fire like the other ones are.
Please, could you not? Please, just
Talkers,
no.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's just admit it. We're all old. Let's just get over it.
Oh man, no. I'm glad that there's another book coming out for D&D. It's great. It'll be interesting. Now, can they say
you'd be
that,
hard pressed to stop them at this point.
Right, exactly. Like it's almost how often they put out a new book? It seems like almost every month now at this point.
So originally, when 5th edition kind of kicked off, they were putting out a new book about every 3 months. And then it kind of accelerated about a year or two ago to about a book every 10 weeks. But at the end of the year here, they really ramped it up. And we've had a new book just about every month for the past 4 months.
Yeah,
so it definitely hit hard and fast. And I think that's because they're pushing things out because we know we're getting like 5.5 next year. So...
yeah, they might be speeding along the process of some of these other books just to kind of they're in the pipeline, trying to get them out.
Also, I think it's because they've branched out so much because you have the whole Magic the Gathering line from Wizards now. You have your core D&D line, and then you have the various worlds that they're starting to drop books for, like Ravenloft and that sort of thing. So you've got a lot of material to push down the pipe. Like they're investing a lot of money developing all these products. They need to get them out the door to justify the amount of money they're spending on development. So that's why this is, it's a terrible comparison really, but this is one of the reasons why I stopped collecting Magic cards because the release cycle got to be so fast, it priced me out of it. I couldn't keep up. I just didn't have the cash.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Rory actually says Wizards of the Coast put out a new book while we're all talking.
Ooh, yep. All right. Sweet. Is that the VCG setting?
That is. And I'll tell you, the cover for that, the alternate color for that is straight up bonkers.
Bonkers.
Is that
I'll give you bonkers.
I'm bringing bonkers back. How about that?
That's cool. I like the tubular reference. That was amazing.
Yeah. Scott says the cover is really tubular. Wait, do kids?
I remember that. Still surfer talk. Gnarly
Can you
dude.
imagine having a Pop-Tart like monster?
They do.
in
It's
D&D?
they call it a cloaker.
Cloaker.
You could get a cloaker that looks just like a Pop-Tart, I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah.
now that we've totally gone off on the VCG world.
But at least he didn't mention Mork Borg.
No, I'm purposely not, because evidently Mav calls me out for it, so I'm not going to say it tonight. I might mention it in the post-credit scene. How about that? Or chat. Hey, so Wizards, the one thing that I don't think, I mean, maybe I'm mistaken, but Ben, we've been talking about all these shipping issues this year with all the things that are going on. Has Wizards of the Coast seen any kind of shipping impact or delays on their books? Is that kind of a thing? Are you noticing? Like, okay, well, I can kind of.
Ben has an opinion. He would like to share it.
Yes, Wizards has. This book was actually set to release November 17th.
Oh, it was? Really? I didn't know that.
When it was first announced, this book was set to release November 17th. But it got pushed back almost a month.
Interesting.
It was pushed back at the same time Fizzbands was. Fizzbands was only pushed back a couple of weeks. This one was pushed back several. But yeah, they have definitely run into issues. Their D&D line has been a little less impacted than their Magic. Their Magic has been an absolute train wreck, and that's a whole nother show if you want to go into it.
Yeah, no, we'll save that for another show.
These books, especially the LGS exclusive alt covers, have been hyper allocated. They are. I didn't go super deep on them here for Quarterstaff just because it's the Magic setting. It's not a.
And you didn't like the cover.
It's not one of the core worlds. I like the cover. Yeah. Stop it. But I'm hearing reports that people who did go a little bit deeper saw allocations as low as 30-35% of what they actually pre-ordered. So
that's rough.
Wow. Yeah, that's super rough.
Oh, we didn't get to Southern Skies thing. We're gonna have to cover that in
That's all right.
In the later.
Yeah, we'll get to that here in a little bit.
But yeah.
I guess I haven't really kept my ear to the ground on the shipping delays. I know in the tabletop in board games and Kickstarter, like that whole world is just a mess as far as shipping is concerned. But so I guess it's just one would be natural to just assume that the Wizards of the Coast is also being impacted by that. So I guess I don't play Magic and I don't play D&D all that much.
I don't want to speak out of turn, so I'm going to grab a book off my shelf here. But when 5th edition first came out, they were printed in the U.S. But since they've kind of expanded and grown to meet demand, a lot of these books are now printed in China. So yes, they're feeling the crunch as well. So
Vanderbeest wants to know, has there been shipping delays in the sports card market? Actually, there has been. There's still product that still hasn't been released for last season's basketball. And so that's a big thing. We're going to go into 2022 with a product that was supposed to be
old sports cards.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're actually going to be putting out this season's, which sometimes happens. This season's products, like at the same time as old last season's products are going to come out. Yeah,
sorry, I saw Tom's comment. Don't worry, Far West will be out soon. Will it, Tom? Do you think?
Quite possible.
All right. What else you got for us?
The other one is actually a deck building game that's gotten a lot of buzz, mostly because of its designer that's behind it. And this is The Hunger, and the designer is a small name in gaming. You may have heard of him before. Richard Garfield did a few other tiny games.
I've had the comic strip before. It's good.
It's about he likes lasagna, right?
Yeah.
He does like lasagna.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hates Mondays though.
Something about
Mondays,
that. And, and sunbeams are nappy. Yeah.
But the Hunger is actually it's a deck building game in which you play as a vampire. You have to optimize your deck, which will then allow you to go out and hunt humans, which score you victory points. You get to do other secret missions that are around. And the whole goal is to actually get a rose that will allow you to secure your immortality. But you have to then get back to the castle before sunrise. So it feels like there's almost like a push your luck mechanic in here, very similar to like Clank, where you're trying to score as many points as you can, but as you go out and hunt and get the victory points, your deck is slowing you down, which is going to be harder for you to get back. And if you don't get back, you get absolutely nothing at the end. So it'll be. I'm definitely interested in seeing this. I love a good deck builder. It's been a little bit in the board game market since we've had kind of a new deck builder really hit the market and make a splash. So I'm definitely hoping that Richard Garfield can put something kind of unique and something that has a good little twist in it out there. It's been really well reviewed by early previewers and reviewers. So looking forward to it.
I just realized that this game is published by Renegade Game Studios.
Mm-hmm.
It's got another. It looks like there's another game, like another studio tied to it, but I don't know. Ori Games.
Ori or Oni Games.
I don't know.
Usually, if there's like another studio kind of tied to it, it's for the international market.
Okay.
And I believe Origames is French.
Okay. All right.
What? Really?
Yeah.
The company name is Origames and it's French.
You know, I don't name the companies. I know
that's a weird thing.
I just look them up. But yeah, they've worked previously within the CCG world. Apparently, they did gaming magazines back in the early days of Magic, and they've also worked. They worked with Yellow on a few games, which makes sense, being that Yellow is French originally as well. So, but yeah, it looks like they're kind of a design studio. So they probably helped Richard Garfield out with this and getting it together. And then Renegade seems to be the distribution partner here in the North America.
Tom Ryan says, "Does Garfield have his own studio?" That's a good question. I don't know.
It's Italian though, because it's they need to import the lasagna. It's not French.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think John has a studio and he just lives there.
You guys, I tell you, I'm surprised I haven't heard anything from this, because usually I've got I'm pretty up to date on what Renegade Game Studios puts out, and I haven't seen this one. This one's kind of flown under the radar for me. I guess I didn't realize that this was coming from them.
Yeah, this one did get a bit delayed. I believe I think they wanted to have it ready for a Gen Con release, and due to the pandemic and everything, it kind of got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And because it's been solicited for us, I think since like May, I think is when we first started getting solicitations for it in the hobby retail sector. So
interesting. I'm surprised that I guess it kind of makes sense, because they have put out the G.I. Joe deck builder and the Transformers deck builder. I think those are those available at retail now. I think
if they are, I haven't gotten them.
You haven't gotten them?
No, I have not. So I don't even know if I've ordered them, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
There's been no buzz on those at all.
Yeah, I've got copies of them. I haven't played them at all, to be honest with you. I haven't even opened them, just because A, I've been too busy, and B, I haven't really heard too much about it. So I'm wondering if that's the reason why we haven't heard too much about this game, the Hunger game, is because of the fact that they're trying to push those other two.
Push their
titles.
Own the IPs
know.
they're a little more tied with, and because. I would wager, if I were Renegade, I would want to, with the big 80s cartoon IPs, make them so that we can produce a new expansion every quarter and kind of keep the money train rolling on those, where this one seems to be a little bit more self-contained and may not actually, scream expansions for it. So,
Gotcha. Rory says, I tried to order the G.I. Joe deck builder and my friendly local game store just threw up their hands. That's too bad.
Oh boy. I knowing some of the behind the scenes things that have happened in the industry with the whole supply chain and everything, I am sure that is because they've tried and have just been unable to get it, Rory. Maybe there's other things at play there, but that would be my wager. It's very hard to get things right now. So
yeah.
Even things that we should be able to get very easily, it's. I'll throw up my hands sometimes too.
It's tough. It's tough.
I think it's a good thing though that if they're going to release games like CCGs like that, that the core set be tight. It needs to be a fully functional game right out of the box like that. Like so many of these CCG games come out with a promise of an expansive release catalog in the future, and then they don't sell that great. And then all of a sudden the releases get pushed back or taken off the charts or whatever. Like the game needs to be solid when it launches. And if it's not, there's kind of like, I'm not going to buy a game where like, I'm like, okay, this is cool, but it's half the game that I wanted. It's kind of like when you buy like a AAA video game and they want you to subscribe to a season pass, and you're like, okay, in 6 hours, I played through all the content that's available. Now I have to wait 3 months for more content. So I'm like, I'd rather get the Game of the Year edition at the end of the year,
Yeah.
So to release a solid game right out of the gate is probably a great idea. Like if everybody loves it, then you're like, hey, guess what? We have more ideas. Here we go.
No doubt. No doubt. All right. Is that all that we've got for New at the Store this week, Ben?
Those are the two that I wanted to kind of highlight. And I do want to say we're probably not really looking at too much for the rest of the year coming out
Really?
in the store. With the way everything's backed up, a lot of the distributors themselves, even if the supply chain wasn't backed up before it gets to them, they're putting out more product than they really should on a daily basis and really trying to get things into your local stores in time for the holidays. So like, I'm not expecting any new stuff probably for the next month. It's going to be a lot of restocks in your store and just people trying to get through the rest of the year with what they've got, just based on everything.
At this point, if something arrives in the mail, you're like, holy cow, it showed up.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, that's going to bring us to our featured segment, which is going to be pay to play. This is we're going to talk about the new Marvel Multiverse Roleplaying Game, the Playtest rulebook that's coming out at the end of March. We're going to talk a little bit about that and whether or not we agree with publishers putting out a pay for playtest version before the finished product is coming out. Stick around.
And now, our feature presentation.
So this is kind of news. This news I think broke around Q2 of this year that Marvel was going to be putting out a new fantasy new role-playing game, tabletop game based on their IP. You're going to be able to like play as existing Marvel characters if you want, or you can create your own. They really hadn't, when they first announced that they were doing a new RPG, they hadn't mentioned what kind of system it was going to use or what. They just announced who was going to be designing it, and now for the life of me I closed out the window the article that I had up for it. Do you guys remember who's the designer of this? It's like Matt. Crap, I can't remember. Who is the designer for this? Do you remember?
I'm looking it up real quick.
His name is Matt Forbeck.
Forbeck, yep. So it was going to be designed by Matt Forbeck, and it was supposed to come out sometime the end of next year. Then they made the announcement a little while ago that they were going to put out a playtest version that folks can buy. It's going to come out the end of March. You're going to be able to play pre-existing characters. They're going to give you pre-gens. I don't know if they're going to give you rules on how to make your own.
I'm pretty sure it did say there was going to be rules for making your own.
Okay.
In the playtest packet.
Oh, yep. It says you'll be able to take on the roles of Marvel's most famous superheroes or create entirely new ones to fight some of the most dangerous dangerous supervillains in the Marvel universe. You're going to be it's going to be packed with illustrations from Marvel's amazing comic book artists. The playtest
Better be.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Marvel.
If this book has crappy art, wow.
It's going to be the playtest rulebook will include full profiles for fans to become their favorite Avengers, mutants, and other heroes, including Spider-Man, Black Panther, Captain America, Thor, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Wolverine, Storm, and many more. So they're going to have X-Men. They're going to have characters that are very
it's the very familiar. Forefront of the MCU that they're bringing into the role play, which is smart because that's how you're going to get more people in.
Start off with the big hitters.
Yep, X-Men and MCU All Stars. That's what you want.
I mean, those are pretty much the characters that sell whenever you go to a toy store. Whenever you walk down a toy aisle, those are the characters you mostly see on the pegs. So it makes sense that they're going to put those characters out in a playtest form. It's written and co-designed by award-winning and New York Times best-selling author Matt Forbeck. He wrote the Marvel Encyclopedia, Dungeons and Dragons Endless Quest. I don't think I've seen that one.
What? You haven't seen Endless Quest books? What are you talking about?
The Endless Quest books. Are those the ones that are like the Choose Your Own Adventure books? Yes.
Yeah. You sent us one of those.
You put them in a secret.
To the patrons. Okay. Well.
He's a very prolific author as well. He's written a lot of books.
He wrote quite a few of those Endless Quest books too. So
he was done work for Games Workshop.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, he wrote the Blood Bowl books. He co-wrote the rules and helped design the rules for Warzone, which is one of their big sellers in the last few years for skirmish level gaming.
Gotcha.
The man's got some chops under him.
All right. The playtest rulebook will introduce players to the all-new D616 system, an accessible and easy-to-learn system for newcomers to tabletop RPGs and a natural evolution for those familiar with the most popular tabletop role-playing games on the market. You're going to be using might, agility, resilience, vigilance, ego, and logic to win the day and discover your true abilities. So basically, when it's a 3d6 system, and if you roll a 616, that's like rolling a 20, I guess, if you were rolling a D20, which is interesting.
I realized that Ben pointed it out in the chat. It's 6, or was it? Were you Ben or Barney?
Yeah,
I think it was Ben.
Yeah.
It's based on Earth 616,
which is the primary multiverse in the Marvel canon.
See, until Ben said that, I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. You're gonna roll a 6, a 1, and a 6, and that's your ooh ah moment. Like that's your 20. And then, but then at the back of my mind, I was like, they don't want to release a system where your top roll is 666.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's
so I'm sure that probably had some level of influence on it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
If I had to wager, like how it will work, and I don't know if we've seen this at all before at all. I haven't seen it. I would wager that one of your die is another color, or you're supposed to roll it separately or something, and it actually will subtract from the total of the other two. Is kind of how I feel. So if you roll a 6, and then your 1 is your subtraction die, then rolling a 13 or rolling an 11 is actually the highest you can get. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but
I'm curious to see how it's going to work too.
Goes. Yeah. I'm kind of curious as to how.
Honestly, it smacks of gimmick to me, and that's what I don't like. It's a gimmick for the game. And I get it that they're trying to make a unique die system like every game before it has, but that combined with the whole Marvel thing for your stats, it's a gimmick.
So there are a couple things that I appreciate here with this 3d6 system. I appreciate that they just didn't dump it into a D20 system, like, and make it a 5e port or some sort of 5e adjacent system. I like the fact that they're doing something with 3d6. And I like how they kind of just they're trying to come up with something that are unique. It's not going to be a Powered by the Apocalypse game. It's not going to be a Forged in the Dark game. It's going to be, it's not a 5e game. It's their own thing, which is great. I appreciate that. I am one of those game players that doesn't like it when companies take an IP and shoehorn their IP into a setting.
Hellboy. Sorry.
So, I appreciate the fact that they're trying to do something different. And if it's a 3D6 system, more than likely it's going to be fairly rules light. And that's also good too, because
that depends on how you use your 3D6 though, Doug. I mean,
true.
You look at Free League with the D66 system. That gives you like a massive table of results. So if they're going to expand on something like that, you could have big tables.
I don't know. I mean, if you have 3D6, how many tables are you really going to have to refer to? Like, how many? There's only so many results that you can roll with 3D6.
No, but if they use it like the D66 system, where your first D6 is your 10s, and the next one follows after it.
Yeah,
that gives you larger tables. And if they're going to do that with 3 dice, that could be big honking tables.
I have a feeling that they're not going to do that.
They kind of need to in some instances, though.
It makes me think that's how they. I don't know.
I think if they don't give it a little bit of intensity and variance, it's going to be very boring for people to be like, well, I've got this hero versus that hero, and this hero should easily outmatch that hero, and for some reason my dice are allowing me to keep up. Like, as cool as that is, it's not really going to represent the comic, and I think they are trying to represent that. So
yeah, Walter W says there's 216 probable outcomes with 3d6. So yeah, that's not horrible. I mean, I don't know. I want to know more before I actually just say, oh no, this is going to be garbage. This is going to be amazing. I want to know more, but I do like what I see so far. I think it's going to be great for if what they say is what I'm thinking. It should be a system that families and new players are going to be able to just pick up and play and not have to worry too much about learning a whole bunch of rules and everything to just start playing.
I think it's going to be more rules heavy than you expect.
You think it's going to be more rules heavy?
I don't think it's going to be like chokingly rules heavy like 5th edition or Pathfinder. But I think it'll probably be somewhere like some middle ground in there. Like it's going to be more intense than just standard 3d6 mechanics, like where your results are 3d18 kind of thing. But I don't think they're going to try and like math you to death. I really don't.
I like the fact that the playtest booklet is going to be 109 pages, I think is what they said. So that's a good and to be honest with you, a lot of the Free League quick start PDFs are around that or more. So I think that's a good way to kind of get folks playing and to see if they like it. Now this is going to be 109 pages. I think it's just a softcover book, and it's a playtest booklet. I think are they going to put this in Ben? I don't know if you know Ben for sure or not. Do you know if this is going to like friendly local game stores and to comic book stores? I would think that this would be a product that Marvel would want in their comic book stores and available for that audience as well.
All I know is that a lot of the things that they've put out there have kind of indicated that you should contact your local comic shop to get this. I seeing as that Alliance Distribution is owned by Diamond Distribution, which is the big Marvel distributor. Although I guess Random House is picking up stuff now too. Which anyway. Distribution worries aside, comic stores and game stores should be able to get this. It looks like the only places it's seeing any real pre-order traction right now are big box stores and Amazon. So if you are interested in it, definitely talk to your local store, see if you can get it. You've got a few months to track it down and get it. So, but it looks like they are pushing it hard online through the box stores and the online retailers. But it's pre-ordering for a $10 price point, so it's definitely. And I can talk a little bit about price now. $10 price point for 100 and some odd pages in a paperback, probably only with a full color cover. I don't think the interior will be full cover for the playtest.
I don't think so for a playtest.
Yeah, for a playtest, probably not. It's about right for a price point if someone were making a book about that amount. In fact, it's probably even a little on the lower end. So it definitely feels like it's priced to sell a bunch of copies. They want to put this into a lot of people's hands.
I think they're trying to find the balance there. They don't want to have feedback from everybody who just grabs a copy off the shelf and wants to write in, "Hey, this game sucks, get bent." They put that little bit of a price tag on it so that you're going to have to spend $10 if you want to make that comment.
Yeah, I think that the price point is fair. I think it's great. And it will get people playing this game that are fans of Marvel and fans of RPGs. And I'm gonna go back to some of the questions before I get to my next comment. Tom Ryan says, yes, I ordered it from my local comic store, so that's awesome. So you should be able to order it. And then he also said that they do have two alternate art covers, one by popular artist Peach Momoko. So it really kind of sounds like they're really kind of taking that whole comic book spin on it with trying to
you have to,
which
you can't not.
Which that worries me a little bit, because most alt covers in comics require shops to order a lot of the base version to get one of the alt cover. Maybe that'll be different for this, since it is kind of a gaming product. But if they're going the comic route, they're really hoping to stick a lot of these on store shelves, which may not be the best for your local comic store to order 100 of these to get the fancy exclusive cover.
You think that's what it'll be? They have to order 100 copies?
I couldn't say. I just know how that's how a lot of the alt covers in the normal books go. Comic stores get one copy per X that they order, and some of the rarer ones you need to order 100 copies.
A lot,
of something to get.
So
when I used to collect, I collected only alt cover. Well, not only alt covers, but I collected every alt cover when I used to collect way back in the 80s. And my local comic shop was like, you need to drum up a lot of support for this yourself. Because if we don't get at least 60 people pre-ordering this, we are not ordering the bulk amount that we need to get these variant covers.
So, or maybe they might just do it totally different and say, "Hey, here's
I hope so.
Here's
I hope
three
so.
different SKUs. Order as many as you want. Here's order 10 of these, 10 of these, 10 of these." And maybe they only let local game stores order the 2 SKUs that have the alternate art and make it something that only they so that now that they have this big they have this big push for Amazon and big box retailers for the regular game as it is right now. Maybe that's something that they're going to do for the friendly local comic book stores, the friendly local game stores. So then that way, people have a reason to rush to and pick it up that way as well. It wouldn't surprise me, but let's hope that that's what they're doing. I don't know. I think that having like a really super rare alternate art cover for an RPG playtest book probably isn't the best way to go, but we'll see. We'll see.
It'll get people to pay attention. If that's your favorite artist, you're going to go out there and you're going to get it.
Yeah, that's true. So
I'm trying to hop into my distributor right now and see what I can pre-order as a game store.
I'm hoping it's comic book sized, like a graphic novel.
That would be nice.
Like the Walking Dead graphic novels, the compilation issues, because that would be really cool. I don't want a D&D sized book out of this for some reason. I don't know why.
Matthew McLeod says, hopefully the alternate art cover won't be purple.
Unless it's got Hawkeye in his original costume. Then it can be all the purple.
So you would think that Marvel, with all the publishing that they do, they kind of they know the graphic, the collected editions. What are those called? The graphic novels?
Omnibuses?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whenever they do those
the trade paperback.
Trade paperbacks, that's what it is. So you would think that this would probably be another trade paperback, sized book.
I think that would be really cool. Like, it would be very comic-y.
Yeah. No, I think you would get a lot of folks that would pick it up just because they go, oh, this is a trade paperback, and then be like, oh, what is this? You might get some audience that way. Sorry, Tom says trade paperback. Yeah, I'm not really up on my comic book terms, but I knew that there was some short term for that. So $10, you get to have an early playtest of the rules. You actually will be able to give feedback. I'm kind of curious as to how they're going to do that. If it's an online forum, are they going to have something that, because if they have all these copies out there in the wild and people are playing it, how are they going to funnel that feedback?
I think it's going to be a form.
You think so?
It's going to be a form you fill out online. Like, select what you want to comment on from this drop-down menu. Enter what you want to comment, that kind of thing. They have to do that, because otherwise they're going to pay some poor intern or a room full of interns to sift through. Probably, like, if it's anything like playtest experiences that I've had in the past, 95% of the feedback is garbage. It's immediately toss it out the window. This game is really cool. I love it. Yeah, you got to release it now. Thanks, but not useful. So I think they're going to end up with a lot of stuff like that. So they kind of need an online submission form. You can't just have people writing a dissertation.
Yeah, I think so too. It'll be interesting to see, because Marvel fans are some of the most vocal fans as far as, and I'm not saying this as a bad thing. Don't say that.
Well, no, you can, because if they don't like something you're doing, they will bury you.
They are very, if it's not to the letter of what's already been established, they're usually very vocal about that. So it'll be interesting to see, how this system plays out and how that existing community likes it, and if it feels like they're I need to see the mechanics. That's all I want. I'm not even worried about who's got what powers or what abilities or anything like that. I just want to see the rolling mechanics. Yeah. Because if you roll a 616, I'm curious, is that rolling 3d6? And, like, you just, if a 601 and a 6 come up, you're aces. And if the 3 6s come up, it's not as good. Like, or is it 666 possibilities?
So it'd be like rolling percentiles, but
it's almost like a D1000 at that point.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't think they're going to go that way, because that would be really, like, that would make for some massive tables, unless you started breaking them up into, like, 1 to 15 is this thing, and 16 to 31 or 30 is the next thing, kind of deal. But, like, just the idea of rolling 3d6 and having a 616 come up, I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's cool. I rock the house, kind of thing. But that implies that you can roll 656 and 646. Like, are those 3 dice individual, or is it a total? Like, that's what I'm curious about.
I don't know yet.
We don't.
Yeah, I know. That's why it annoys me that this is all we know. It really bugs me that this is like the ultimate tease.
I think to kind of cycle back to the playtest aspect of it, a lot of people kind of forgot that D&D 5th edition went through a very large public playtest.
Yep.
D&D Next was the project that actually gave them, what is now the most popular roleplay system in the world, probably ever.
Pathfinder did the same thing too, did they not? With their second edition, did they not have a?
Yeah, their second edition they did a public. But the big difference with that is they didn't make people pay for the playtest.
No, it was just a massive book.
Yeah. So what I'm concerned about with the paying of the playtest is people will buy this playtest book, and that's just what they'll use. They won't give feedback. they won't buy the full book when it shows out. They're like, I got a $10 roleplay game that allows me to do whatever I want. Who cares? Yeah. I can house rule things if they're not quite right. Yeah. I don't need to worry about that. So I kind of feel like maybe paying to playtest in this regard could backfire and may actually cost some sales of the bigger book, because people are like, well, I've got this. I can talk to my buddy online or grab things and make little notations in my $10 book rather than spend 50 or 60 when the full book comes out. Maybe not. Maybe they'll hold enough back. But
no, that was definitely one of my concerns too when we put up this episode. That, like, is it going to impact the official release once that's out? We've seen, like, this isn't the first time a company has done this, by the way. We've seen this happen before. Pathfinder 2nd Edition did the same thing. They put out a play, and that book was much more expensive than this $10 price point right now.
No, yeah, but you didn't have to buy it, though. You could download it. You could buy the physical book from them, but you could also download the PDF for free.
It was for free, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I
think
I still have my playtest book somewhere.
Which we did sell what I would consider a decent number of copies. We weren't going to bring it in, but we had people asking to buy it because of the desire to have a physical book. So, maybe they will. I will say, though, that a lot of people that did buy the physical playtest for Pathfinder, probably only half of them came back and got the core book for the second. So
I think that I don't want to, like, disparage Pathfinder players or everything, or if you love 2nd edition Pathfinder, then awesome. I have a feeling that 2nd edition Pathfinder is not selling as well.
It's not. Paizo freely admits it. It is not selling to their expectations. They're on the record as saying that. I'm pretty sure I saw a couple of articles about that at one point. And most of the community has said the same thing. They're like, 2nd edition is the new hotness because it's new, but it's not as good. In most people's, well, not in most people's, I shouldn't say that. In a lot of people's minds, this 1st edition is still the better product.
Yeah. Let me actually scroll back up, because I believe we had a really good comment from Southern Skies. Pay to play tests. This is fairly common in the Kickstarter space these days, with the alpha beta versions released to backers during the layout stage, especially for smaller companies who may have a single external editor, if any. The motivated backers then do further real world testing and pick up the many technical typos or exotic rule interactions that may break the product, so it can be fixed for final release. Yeah, I feel like that's a little bit different, though. Like, I feel, and I'm just speaking from experience with Free League is the one that does this for quite a bit, and I feel like with Free League's PDFs, when they put out an alpha and beta edition, it's like 90%, or better.
It's also one of those things that you're not backing the alpha and beta, you're backing the final product.
Right.
And you're getting the alpha beta to tide you over and for you to help, make the final product better. You're not paying for the alpha beta and then you have to buy the final product again, which is where we are with the Marvel Multiverse.
I think the big thing with this is I don't think this is a play test so much as it is a stress test. I don't think that Marvel is going to stand there and say, hey, we want you guys to look at this neat new rules idea we have. Give us your feedback, and we're going to see if we're going to go ahead with it. I think they have like 90% of this locked down as to how they want it to go. They're just giving the public the opportunity to take it and run with it and fool around with it. And the feedback they're going to take most of is going to be, this system is clunky. This system doesn't work. This system is broken because of XYZ. So I don't think it's so much a genuine playtest as it is more of a stress test on the game itself.
You mean like instead of the system, you mean like the mechanics, or like this certain mechanic?
I think that's what they want. They want to give us. They're looking to give us the mechanics so that we can say, okay, this 616 system. Okay, let's put it through the ringer. Let's sit here and roll dice for the entire afternoon, just trying to see what happens. Can we screw it up? Does it represent the mechanics properly? You know, does it make you feel like a hero when you're rolling your dice? Like, is that aspect of it available? So I think, like, unless the feedback is unanimously one-sided in a particular direction, they're not going to really make any major changes to the game at this point. They know how they want it to go already. What they're worried about is, just like any game, like even like I'll look at any MMO that launches, within the first week and a half, the public has broken your game to pieces because they've found all the exploits, they found all the tricks, they found all the loopholes. That's what they're hoping for. They want the public to come back to them and say, "Hey, did you guys realize that if you do X, Y, and Z, you broke this game?" So they're looking for that more than genuine help us build a game.
Right. Yeah, I think it's definitely, you know, hey, let's get more people playing this, so then that way if there's anything that's really kind of, you know, sketchy about a certain mechanic or something, you know, we can fix it before, you know, just kind of polish the edges a little bit more in terms of what they want to do with the final product. I don't think, like you said, I think the majority of the game is probably all designed. It's just a matter of, you know, fixing and making sure everything else is well balanced.
Somebody mentioned a little while back that they were wondering if the 3D6 mechanic wasn't based on stats.
Yeah,
and
I thought
that was kind of a cool idea. Like, what if, because you have the whole Marvel stats thing, what if you are picking 3 of those stats, kind of like what we did with Blue Planet? Remember when we were asked, like, hey, what skill do you think you should use for this? Your GM says, hey, give me 3 skills that you think will help you in this role. Take your skill value plus your dice roll, and there's your result, kind of thing. Like, that would be an interesting mechanic then.
Yeah, it's hard to, like, I think based on what they've given us so very little to work with and to kind of come up with an opinion as far as the system is concerned, it's not even in my mind. I'm still waiting to see whether or not it's going to work or not.
Oh yeah, this is just a huge tease at the moment.
This is just a huge tease at this point. I'm just kind of curious as to whether or not people are going to, like Ben said, if people go out and buy this product, this playtest booklet, are they going to come back for the final copy? I guess
it depends on the system.
Yeah, it really kind of does. I mean, I think if you like the system, you're going to go back and you're going to buy it. If you don't like the system, you're not going to go back and buy it.
Yeah.
And that's a huge gamble for Marvel and the designer.
Superheroes is hard to pull off because they're almost like the larger franchises like Star Wars, Star Trek. If you don't feel like, if you're playing Wolverine and you don't feel like your character on paper and the dice rolling you're doing is representing that character, you're done. You don't like it. Like, I guarantee, like, so many times when I was playing the old Marvel game, the old original Marvel superheroes, I would throw in like Sentinels versus the X-Men, and the Sentinels would mop the floor with the X-Men because their stats were just better than the X-Men stats. Unless they all ganged up on a single Sentinel, there was no chance. Like, 3 Sentinels easily mopped the floor with like 4 or 5 X-Men. And we were all sitting there going like, well, I mean, I get it. I mean, the point of fighting a Sentinel is to gang up on it so it can't adapt. Understandable. But there was a lot of instances where people were like, okay, I'm Spider-Man and I'm doing my thing. And wait, how come this didn't work? How can I miss a shot with a web? Spider-Man almost never misses, like maybe 1 in 1,000 shots with his webs, kind of thing. And it kept happening, and we were all like, Yeah. It's hard to stay interested when you don't feel like the hero you're trying to be.
If you're just getting beat down, just like, you know, an average Joe, it's kind of hard to. Scott says, my group bought the playtest book and used that for the game. We looked online for updates and fixes. I'm assuming that's for the Pathfinder 2nd edition playtest book. Let's see here. Well, no, Jason is spot on. No, we don't. I should have never brought that comment on the screen. Let's see here. Scott says Marvel knows that they will sell many playtest games to comic book fans and then sell the final version to role players. Yeah, especially if they're going to do the alternate art and collectability thing too.
If the main book ends up being, say, I don't know, 200 pages, like your standard hardback kind of size book sort of thing, and they fill it with art from like a dozen or more popular Marvel artists, they will sell the book strictly for that. People will buy it just to have, like I said, that they have a favorite artist. Like for me, back in the old days with Todd McFarlane, Spider-Man, Todd McFarlane could draw anything in that era. And I was like, I don't care if he's drawing a poster for Goodwill. I will buy that poster.
And if it has original art, and like pieces that people haven't seen before, it's definitely going to sell because, people love all that stuff too. Let's see here.
I've been kind of trolling Reddit here a little bit and trying to find the most up-to-date stuff we have. Apparently, the rulebook will have a campaign for you to play through, a little short campaign.
I was going to say, in a 109-page book, that's got to be interesting.
Yeah. So that will be... and then they'll also include... I guess it's an adventure, not necessarily a full campaign, but... and then there are instructions for you to contact Marvel, and apparently the phrasing that was used in the solicitation is your feedback may be factored into the core rulebook.
Maybe.
So,
if enough people pick on one thing, they'll look at it.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. In a 109-page book, they're going to give you character creation. They're going to give you the rules system, and they're going to give you obviously stat blocks for existing heroes, a bunch of the existing heroes, and they're going to give you a campaign. That's not a lot of pages to get everything in there,
and that makes me wonder,
or at least an adventure. Sorry,
that makes me wonder how rules light the system is, because if you've got a ton of different mechanics, there's no way you're going to be able to fit all that in 109 pages.
The only way I could see them doing it is a lot of games, unless the print is really tiny, what a lot of games will do is they will give you a very simple core mechanic, and it's almost like Magic, honestly. You have the basic core mechanic, you tap your mana, you cast your spell, and then cards modify it. So, like, Warhammer is a good example of that. You have a core system that's actually sort of balanced out now, thankfully, finally, Jesus. And you have a list. Your individual units have like 2 or 3 special abilities. Those special abilities can override the core rules to allow you to perform an additional effect. So, if they do something like that with the heroes, where it's like, hey, here's our core rules. There's 25 pages of them. Here's the basics of gameplay, but if this character has something on his sheet that says, like Wolverine can recover can do X number of damage with his claws on every swing above and beyond what is normally possible with a bladed weapon. If they do something like that, then the expanded rule set for the heroes becomes rules themselves. Like, so when they release the X-Men source book, you are not only getting the X-Men, you're also getting all of the adjustable rules that come with the X-Men that allow them to be the X-Men. So that could be a
method,
yeah. That way they can still come out rules light and a small book.
Let's see here. Aaron says, I would purchase it just to support my friendly local game store rather than participating in a playtest test to find other players to play non-D&D. It is difficult. I think that may be one issue with doing a new RPG this way. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Like, it boggles my mind why it's this way in the role-playing tabletop game, hobby, where board gamers they don't do that. Like, there's very few board gamers that are like, oh, I only play this one game and that's it. Like, whereas like with RPG players, they're just like, I only play 5e. Like, that's the only game. And I don't want to play anything else. Like,
that's just a matter of saturation, though.
I guess, but like, it's
it's like you grew up. If you go to school and you use the this is gonna age me out really fast. If you go to school and you only use the Encyclopedia Britannica, you don't trust any other reference book. That's the kind of thing that D&D has managed to accomplish. Everybody knows that D&D is a popular system. Everyone knows it. Everyone is aware of it and how it basically how it plays. Honestly, like you can't get into role-playing games right now, really, unless you've really been lucky, without having an experience with Dungeons and Dragons first.
Yeah.
That's almost everyone's gateway to role-playing is D&D. And that you can't buy that kind of core publicity right there.
That's true.
That's why a lot of games come out and they're like, "Hey, we have a really cool new mechanic and a really cool new dice system, and we want you to roll X and Y and Z for this." And people are like, because it's just another mechanic to forget. Because you and 3 of your friends like it, and the other 18 of them are like, "Yeah, nah, not my thing."
Ben, you mentioned earlier that you were looking up solicitations for your store. Did you find any solicitations online for Diamond or whatever?
The 2 primary distributors that I looked at, ACD Distribution and Alliance Games Distribution, do not have any entry in their system yet for this product. So that leads me to believe a lot of the solicitations are going through Diamond, which I don't have direct access to, because not everything Diamond has is offered through Alliance, despite them being owned. But and because it did just hit the previews, it could be it just hasn't filtered its way into Alliance yet. Alliance has had some technological issues over the past month, which if you want to talk about that, hit me up on another thing, and we can talk about that, because that's a whole nother episode.
When Ben talks about that in our side chat, it's always entertaining.
Yeah, that's a whole other segment that we could probably dedicate another 30 minutes
so
to.
I wager probably by the end of the year I will be able to order this. Comic shops are probably most familiar with it right now, just because they did get the previews and catalog, and a lot of game stores are also local comic shops as well. So
yeah.
Okay. Let us know in the comments if you are interested. If you plan on picking this up for yourself to playtest. Let me know whether or not you would, if you're going to pick it up to playtest and give feedback, or just to kind of playtest and with your friendly with your local group, guys. Ben, is this a booklet that you would pick up and give a try to? Is this something that
if it was any more than $10, I would not. Yeah, being $10, I think, is the right price point for what they're trying to do. If it was $15, I would pass immediately. $10, I at least go, you know what? For $10, I at least get a cheap roleplay game that maybe I can play once in a while.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even if I never follow up on it.
You could use it with your Crisis Protocol minis.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I don't know what the cost is right now for a 109-page book, but you have to think that this could be a loss leader for them. This could be one of those things where
for sure,
it's costing them more to print and ship out and distribute than it is.
This is going to be just as much of a hype machine as it is a sale.
Right.
It's
They're going to use this as like a free RPG day booklet,
like,
more than anything.
You haven't been able to role play as Marvel superheroes in how long? Hey, here we are again.
I really think, because they haven't been forthcoming yet on how feedback is going to be collected, how long feedback is going to be collected, I really feel that this is more marketing than playtest.
Okay.
And this will absolutely be a loss leader for them. Is my feeling.
Yes.
I'm wondering where I'm going to get a copy.
Well, here's the one thing that I was going to say. So this was my my final thoughts on everything. I agree with Ben. I agree that this $10 price point is perfect.
Yeah, it's
Marvel has done their research.
As was mentioned, it's a couple of trips to Starbucks, whatever.
Right, and most comic books are about $5 now anyway.
God, that hurts my soul.
And maybe up in Canada they're like $30. I don't know.
I was buying them when they were a quarter. But
I really think for the price of even just the price of 3 comics, it's going to be worth it.
It's endless role playing. So yeah, at $10 you're not getting a role playing game for less than $10 usually.
$10. I bet it's going to have great art. I bet it's going to look really nice. I think it's going to be a great. Like Ben said, they know what they're doing by pricing this at $10, and it is going to be mostly a marketing thing. What I'm planning to do, and I'm going to tell you this right now, is I'm going to go either, if I can't get it through Ben, I'm going to get it through Tony at Black Moon Games. I'm going to include one on every single shoot crate in our March shoot crate boxes. And if you're not familiar with our with the shoot crates, those are when you're a $10 patron or more on our Patreon for VCG. I send you a box of random gaming goodness, and just wait. December's box is going to be crazy. You're going to have a lot of really cool things in that box, by the way. But every half a year I send out, or every 6 months I send out I guess it would be June's. It would be June's box. I guess that would be in. Yeah. But every 6 months I send out a box of items that to our patrons, and that will be in one of the boxes. I will buy as many copies as I need to for our $10 a month patrons, and I don't know.
I hate web browsers.
He even said he was going to do that.
I'm going to include one into all the shoot crates. So if you would like a copy of this and you're not going to pick one up, or you weren't planning on picking one up, I will pick one up for you and include it in into the June shoot crates for those that are our $10 a month patrons. So yeah, we'll see what. Hopefully everyone every half a year, not every 6 months. Yeah. Scott says
it's a joke, Doug. It's a joke.
I know. Shoot crates are awesome. Thank you, Scott. Scott, I think if you're going to be at PAX Unplugged, I'll hand you December's shoot crate instead of shipping it to you. How about that? Let's see here. Aaron says when he ships out the crates not every month, every 6 months. It's a real shoot storm.
It is a shoot storm.
So yeah, I think that this is going to be a great product. Just to kind of get folks playing. I'm excited for it. Of course, I'm a big Marvel fan, and I'm.
I really would like this to be amazing. I really would.
Yeah.
I really think it's going to be more spectacular than amazing, actually.
Perhaps uncanny.
Astonishing, even.
Fantastic.
Matthew McLeod says those shoot crates are bussin'. Y'all killing me.
Actually, that's one thing I wanted to say too. In the comments when they were talking about how you rolled a 616, and then they said fantastic things would happen, and it's all caps. So I'm wondering if maybe certain dice results evoke certain
maybe
words.
You roll an Excelsior when you
when
you roll a 616.
All I'm saying is Franklin Richards at one point destroys the universe 616. And he's the son of Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. So maybe rolling a 616 actually destroys the entire multiverse. Just going to put that out there.
Waveman Mav says, as a non-comic fan, it will all depend on the game system. Yeah. Well, I think it's going to all depend on the game system in general, to be honest with you. I think in order for it to be successful, it's going to have some pretty solid mechanics.
It does not matter how comic-y it is if the rules suck.
Vanderbeest says, if it's a shoot storm, is this a shoot show?
I mean, it's Doug's show, so yeah.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
But, I think this month I included an RPG this month I included an RPG in the shoot crate, so y'all are gonna get an RPG in this. So I think it's gonna be one of those things where I'm hoping to include.
People are starting to get the crates already too.
Yeah, so we'll try to do that more often than not with those shoot crates. But anyway. Higgins 82 says, "What's everyone's favorite superpower?"
I always like to know. I always like to know what everyone.
I think flying. Flying is mine. Like if I could do anything, I would want to fly.
Invisibility.
Yeah, because I could see that with you, Jason.
Being able to not be seen until it's too late.
I gotta go with teleportation a la Nightcrawler. That would
Yeah,
yes.
Nightcrawler's pretty cool.
Champions does still have a following, Scott. I know quite a few people who still play Champions.
Scott says, yeah, I don't think I've ever played Champions. Walter W says Shields.
Oh, that's not a bad one.
I like it.
Okay. Yeah. What about telekinesis? Not telekinesis. What's the one where you can read minds? What's that called? I forget. I'm not.
Telepathy?
Telepathy. Yeah. Sorry, it's late.
Like Professor X.
Yeah. Could you? I don't think I'd want to read minds.
Actually, that was the one thing that I thought was cool with the one Superman movie when he was as a kid, he's starting to learn his powers, and he sees it, and everybody's always like, "Ooh, I want X-ray vision because then I can see people when they're naked." And he sees through their skin, and all he sees is muscle and bone and sinew. He's like, "Ah!"
Terrifying.
Phasing, Aaron. That's what that's called. Yeah.
Ben, read Doug's mind. No, don't do that. You have to read my mind. It's just statically. My mind. If you were to read my mind, it'd just be like one of those static TV screens. That would be pretty much what it would be.
Like the beginning of Neuromancer, when the sky is the color of a television tuned to a dead channel.
Let's see here. Aaron says, like vision, being able to change your material so you can pass through objects.
The concept of phasing always terrified me because I was like, what if you don't make it all the way through? Like with Kitty Pryde from the X-Men, when she could phase through things, she had to hold her breath. If she couldn't get through before she needed to breathe, she was out. She was apparently I don't think it was a psychological thing for her though, where she would just lose her ability to, like, if she couldn't get through on a full breath, she would just solidify and be stuck in something. And I'm just like, oh, that's gross.
Scott says, my superpowers, huge pectoral muscles and $1 million. So Scott would be pretty much Batman. I think that would
pretty much, yeah.
That's basically. Waveman Mav says, we already tell you what we were thinking, Doug. Yeah, that's true.
I saw a new trailer for Morbius. I watched Resident Evil the other day, the new Resident Evil movie.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually had a trailer for Morbius that was better than the one that they had released prior. I still hate the guy, the actor. I can't stand him.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't stand him. I just don't like him as I don't know, something about him just. But the trailer does look much better.
Okay. I think I saw a new one too. The last movie that I went to. I can't remember what movie it was, but maybe it was the Shang-Chi. Yeah, I think it was Shang-Chi that I saw the new trailer.
They showed a Morbius one, yeah.
Yeah. Brandonson 112 says Doug's mind is just 24/7 elevator music.
The girl from Ipanema.
Only this elevator doesn't go to the top floor, if you know what I mean. No.
Stops about here somewhere.
Aaron says, personally, the only superpower I would like to have is the ability to always remember where I put my car keys.
Legit.
Not just car keys, just almost anything in general for me. That's what I would I would like. So. Yeah, let us know in the comments if you're watching this after the fact and you're not watching it live. Let us know if you're planning on picking up a copy of this playtest, this Marvel Multiverse RPG. And if you're excited about it, let us know in the comments as well. Yeah, I think it's great. Like I said, I like the fact that they're using a new system. Hopefully it's really thematic and it is easy to pick up.
It's risky to pick up a new system. It really is.
It is. But you know,
a lot of them are just like, hey, this is cool. And then 6 months from now, everybody's like, what? There was a game? Oh.
I think, if you're going to pay to play a playtest, I think $10, like Ben said, it's a great price point. You're kind of, not only are you getting feedback, but you're hyping up the game at the same time. It will be interesting to see if they give a free online version of this game, just to kind of, maybe it doesn't have all the art or whatnot, but maybe they just kind of let people play test it just as like a free PDF. It might not be 109 pages, of course.
I could see them doing it as let this first one be an alpha, and then let the public release be a beta. Still take some feedback for like a couple of weeks or whatever before you finalize.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I can't wait. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll probably make my top 10 of most anticipated RPGs for next year. It's definitely up there, so that it's good. Aaron
I don't think we can put
says,
links in the YouTube chat.
do you have a website link to info on the playtest/RPG? I don't. I know that if you
Not
Google
really
Marvel
anything.
Multiverse RPG, usually you get a whole bunch of different articles about it. So that's pretty much. And to be honest with you, there's not been a whole lot of information that that has been released. I know Marvel does put out. They've put out a couple articles on it.
If you go to comicbook.com, they have a good article on it.
I was able to find the most information all in one place, going to Reddit and the subreddit r/Marvel Multiverse RPG, all one word, no punctuation. And yeah, they had a good breakdown, and it seems like the community is actually pretty hype right there. So,
Jody says this may be my first comic book RPG. Well, that's cool. Yeah.
You know what I just noticed in the description that they gave on the comicbook.com article? It says characters will be using stats such as might, agility, resilience, vigilance, ego, and logic. So does that mean you don't have to have all 6?
Maybe not. I mean,
do you pick like a core 3? Maybe that's your dice.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? We're speculating.
We're just speculating at this point, which is great because if there's something that you'd like to speculate about this RPG, let us know in the comments. We'll be glad to get to them after this is posted. Leo does say you can pre-order it on Amazon. Yeah, you can, but if you can support your friendly local game store, your friendly local comic book store, please do that because I think that's a good way to do it. And like Tom said earlier, he was able to already pre-order it through his local comic book store. So if you do have a store that you can support, definitely do it that way. I know that the pre-order is the same pretty much throughout, so you're not really going to be probably saving any money either way. So, all right, that's probably going to do it for this episode 127. It's crazy. We're almost at 130 episodes. Next week this weekend I will be at PAX Unplugged. So if you are going to Philadelphia and you're going to be at PAX Unplugged, let me know. I will be glad to hopefully connect with you there, and we can hopefully chat or maybe meet up after hours. I will be
no ball pits.
I will be at the Free League booth most of the hours of the expo hall. So feel free to swing by there and say hi, and then hopefully maybe we can get a bite to eat or drink or something after hours as well. Ben will be there as well. Ben, you're coming all those days, and Are you
going to be hanging out with Doug, or are you doing your own thing, Ben?
Probably not hanging out with Doug. He takes people on weird trips through Philly.
So the last time we were in Philly, we went to this industry event. This industry mixer, I should say, after hours. I think it was the first night of Philly, and it was in this bar lounge area, and they had a ball pit.
It was a dance club for 21-year-olds with a bunch of middle-aged industry people hiding in the corner, being like, "Hey,
no, that's not true.
Hey, I can't hear you. You want to go stand by the ball pit? Oh, okay." All right, let's go stand by the ball pit.
The ball pit was bussing. Let's just say because
it wasn't. No,
Stop.
It wasn't. It was a ball pit. It was dirty.
Yeah. So Ben questions my after hours choices. So if you'd like to hang out after hours, let me know. I'd be glad to.
He doesn't sleep, so don't worry about waking him up.
Vanderbeest says, "Will Free League will the Free League booth have any dice for Forbidden Lands?" It probably will. Vanderbeest, if you're looking for some, let me know. I can probably pick you up some. Aaron says, "After Hours Doug is a different person." I'm just saying. It's not true.
Emphatic agreement.
When the sun goes down, the real Doug comes out.
I enjoy my time after hours at conventions. They're a lot of fun. I don't get too crazy though.
That would be me, honestly. If you guys ever end up going with me, I'd be the one doing the stupid stuff.
Oh, Jason, could you imagine both of us together out on the town in Philly?
If there's stairs in a hotel, I will slide down them on something.
Oh man. we need to. We should do a VCG patron or
Gotta do
Kickstarter.
You want to get thrown out of a hotel? I can help.
We should do a Kickstarter, and that should be one of the Kickstarter goals. Jason goes down a flight of stairs,
slid down.
Yeah, at a major convention. That would be amazing. So, yeah, Vanderbeast, let me know. I'll try to pick you up some Forbidden Lands dice. Just hit me up, and I'll make it happen if we've got some.
Is it going to be the full Free League booth, or are you specializing in something, or what?
No, it's the full Free League booth. We're actually going to have new copies of Twilight 2000 there. So that this is like the big event that we'll have, the first big event that we'll have Twilight 2000 available for sale. So excited about that. I actually have a copy over here off to my left, a copy that the air shipped to me of the Tales from the Loop board game. I have
cool.
A deluxe copy of that I'll be able to show off and show
Nice.
folks. So I'm excited to show that off. I have a very, very limited amount of Morkborg. So here you go, Wave Man.
He said it.
1 hour, 25 minutes, 14 seconds.
I will have a very, very limited amount of copies of those. So if anybody wants a copy of Morkborg, make sure to hit me up. That's
why I was angling with the comments. I was like, "Yeah, you're gonna have the whole thing for freely." Like I'm trying to get him to say all of the list. Hopefully, Morkborg was in there.
Scott Roberts says, with all the shootings in the Philly area, we should probably stay at the hotels. Wow, I didn't realize that there was. Yikes!
I mean, it's Philly.
Philly's great. Philly's one of my favorite cities because I've got a connection there from back in the day. So I'm excited to go back. I always love going back and being a part of that city. Waveman Mav says, "LOL, he held out pretty long." I did, but I purposely brought that up just for you at the end here. So, all right, come see me at PAX Unplugged. Come see Ben at PAX Unplugged. See Jason somewhere up north in the frozen tundra.
I will not be at PAX Unplugged.
Probably won't see him there. Barney and Amanda are also staying home as well, which is fine. We're all really
it's
super
fine.
busy. Yeah, I'd love to be able to hang out with
them. It's fine.
But stay tuned. Before the end of the year, I have a big announcement as far as what we're all hopefully going to be able to do in 2022. So, all right, that's going to do it for episode 127 of the Chaotic Good Cast. It was chaotic, but it was so good. We'll see you all next week. Bye. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you would be so kind, and make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe, all the YouTube jazz that we're supposed to do here. It really is greatly appreciated. And if you'd like to support us more, you can check us out on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/Victory Condition Gaming. We have all sorts of Patreon perks, and it definitely helps support our show. Thank you so much.
So the real kicker about the whole ball pit nightclub thing was actually the trip to get there.
Oh,
Doug messages me at 11:30 at night. What are you doing? Want to go somewhere? Let's go somewhere. I'm like, okay, I'll meet you downstairs. Meet downstairs in outside the lobby. And Doug's like, all right, come along, let's go. We proceed to walk around Philly for 40 minutes in December to get to this hotel. And about halfway through it, I'm wondering, Doug, are you sure your GPS is working? Yeah, it's working. Yeah, it's working. It was, but he had it set to car mode, not walking mode. So we were following the one-way streets as we loop around Philly. The actual direct walking route would have taken us 10 minutes.
Oh my God, Doug, what the heck?
For those of you that have never been in Philly, Philly's pretty much all just one-way streets. I mean, that's all you can do. So yeah, we got a nice tour of Philadelphia.
You're just circling the venue.
There's nothing. I mean, come on. You're only in Philadelphia every once in a while. We got to see the buildings, the historic buildings of downtown Philadelphia.
We crossed the river twice trying to find
got to be on one side or the other, right?
Doug, are you sure your GPS is right? Yeah, it's great. Let's keep going.
It said we were going in the right direction. That's all.
Yeah, yes, if we were a car.
And then it like looped us around. Like I'm like, whoa, why did it do that?
Well, yeah, why did it take us around this trtraffic the circle?
You can see it on your left, and you're like, why are we walking this way?
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm in charge of directions after hours too this year too. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited about Reading. Was it Reading Terminal?
Reading Terminal Market, so good.
God, I can't wait to go back there. There's a few places. Origins had what was that? What was the market that was across the?
I've never been to Origins.
What it was, but man, that was great. Reading Market is just, or Reading, Reading Market is just the best. It's like right across from the convention center. There's just so much to eat. It'd be interesting to see if all the restaurants are still in there from and hopefully they've all survived during COVID. But man, you want to talk about places to eat? It's just chock full of delicious.
It's like a big giant farmer's market inside. Just any type of food you want. If you want fresh fish, if you want fresh meat, if you want fresh veggies, they've got grocers in there. They've got food stalls, gift shops, everything.
Donuts are delicious.
If you are ever in Philly, Reading Terminal Market, make sure you plan on at least 3 meals there.
And it's like all you have to do is step outside the convention center, cross the street, it's right there. Like, and you could probably spend an afternoon in there if you really wanted to. Like,
if it's open and if people want to see what I'm eating, I will be tweeting pictures of this on my Twitter. There will be pictures of the food because that's what I do when I go to Philly. As I tweet the food.
I will probably take pictures of me eating the food in Philly just because
it's good.
This will be just a face of joy because it's been too long that I haven't been there. You know what else was fun, Ben? Remember when we went out after the I guess it was like the second night we went out maybe after that whole industry mixer.
Yes, listeners, I did trust Doug for a second night to go out after that.
And remember, we stayed out till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and we went to a Wendy's.
Oh my God, we did go to the.
Remember when we went to Wendy's at like 3 in the morning?
Ben's gonna be having flashbacks after this.
You ever want to know like a super sketch? Wendy's in downtown Philadelphia at 3 in the morning is probably the sketchiest. Like,
I will let you know the Frosty machine was not the only thing broken. That's yeah.
There were a lot of people stumbling and bumbling in that Wendy's.
Yeah.
Brennan says there's nothing wrong with 3 a.m. Wendy's. Well, I don't know. Did we just get Frosties or did we get something else? I think we got food there too, right? I
wanted to get fries and Frosty, but because the Frosty machine was broken, I ended up getting a burger.
Yeah, that's right. Oh well, it was entertaining nonetheless. It's always entertaining whenever we go out.
It's always an adventure when you go to a con with Doug. Let me tell you.
I can't wait. I hope some of the listeners and some of the folks that watch, like, I really hope that they come and see. I know Scott's going to be there, so I can't wait. I hope Scott and I get to hang out after hours. I think his family might be there, so I'll hold
tone it down a little.
Yeah, we won't go super crazy, but
can't be scared, folks.
No ball pit for your kid.
Yeah, I know we won't go to there's ball. Southern Skies AU says, isn't that the theme in the US? The ice cream machine is always broken. Pretty much.
Didn't the FBI actually investigate that at one point? I saw a news article about that. The FBI actually investigated, I think it might have been BS, why the soft ice cream machines were always broken at McDonald's, I think, or something. Or were always not working.
It's nice to know that the FBI
is spending your money appropriately.
Spending money on why the McFlurry machines are broken at McDonald's. Oh man. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm I'm excited to be back at Philly. I mean, with everything else that's going on, of course, I'll probably tone it down a little bit. But there are some great places to eat, and I'm really looking forward to eating some great food, seeing some awesome people. Hopefully gaming. I'm rooming with John Marin, and John Marin is he's one of the editors for Freely Publishing. He's also edited a few other publishers as well. But he and I are mostly going to be using or manning the Free League booth. Ben might give us a hand every once in a while if it gets super busy. If you can, Ben, I don't know.
Ben will be standing in the corner going,
I don't know. Yeah. How many copies of Morkborg do you want to send my way? You notice there's none on the shelf anymore.
Literally, they sent me. They sent me copies from Sweden. Like, that's how bad it is.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean,
yeah.
That is where the Morkborg is from.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna have that, and maybe Fenn's gonna give us a hand as well if it's super busy. Maybe even just cover for lunches, or it depends. It's hard to tell how busy this PAX Unplugged is gonna be because Gen Con was super busy. Origins wasn't quite as busy as as we had thought. So it'll be interesting to see what this is, and being so close to the holidays, is it going to impact that at all? With everything else that's going on in the world, is it going to be?
All I know is that you can still buy any badges you want. No, nothing is sold out.
Oh, okay.
So
now, do they have individual day badges?
They do, yes. You can do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's a kids' day, which is Sunday, and then there's the 3-day badge, and none of them are sold out.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Because one of the things that happened at Dragon Con, and I think I talked about this on a previous episode, was the fact that they didn't sell individual Saturday passes. In order to go Saturday, you had to buy a full weekend pass. So like Saturday wasn't all that busy because it was just the people that had like 4-day passes.
Mm-hmm.
But they did sell individual passes on Sunday, and Sunday was so busy that they hit capacity in the buildings, and they had to make people stand outside. So I'm hoping that something like that doesn't happen at PAX Unplugged. I hope that everybody I hope that everybody enjoys the whole event. It will look different. I'm going to warn folks in advance. If this is the first convention you're going to be at, since everything kind of shut down and kind of everything's have changed, it will probably look different. So just be on the lookout for that. Doesn't mean it won't be fun. We'll have a lot of fun, but just
they'll make fun for you if you need it.
Right. Well, we'll have a good time. And I'm excited just to see everybody again, and like I said, be back in Philly. I enjoy Philly quite a bit. So, all right, that's gonna do it. The next time you see me, I'll be back from PAX Unplugged. I think I'm getting back at 3:00 in the evening on Monday, and then we're gonna do the show at 9. So it'll be like fresh off of
super jet lag. Shoot,
I'm still on a train at 9:00, so I will not be on the show next week.
You can stream from your phone.
Not using train Wi-Fi.
No, you can't. The train Wi-Fi is really, really rough.
We could all do that. We could all just go somewhere where there's crappy Wi-Fi and try to stream.
Oh my god. Yeah,
nothing but quality. We've got the feature presentation, we've got the show me the money, and now all the casters available in 24p.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fine. How long is your train ride, by the way, Ben? I forget.
I don't know.
It's like 8 hours.
It's like 11 or 12 hours. Here's the best part, though, Doug. Yeah. I can sleep on the train. I can work on the train.
I can work on the plane. My plane ride is only like I leave at like 3:02 and I get there at like a little after 5. It's literally just a couple hours. Like,
yeah, I know. It's
how much work can you accomplish in 2 hours, huh?
Yeah,
I can accomplish quite a bit. Yes, I can.
No, we can't.
I can proofread and I can edit.
Lie detector determined that was a lie.
No,
all I know.
See my work. How I work. What did I do?
All I know is I'm gonna get there at 9:00 at night. And I'm gonna message you and be like, "Hey, Doug, you still need help setting up the booth?" And you'll be like, "Yes, because I didn't get anything done today."
I'm getting there at 5, like a little after 5. That's when my plane lands. I will like go from there. I'll probably have to check into my hotel
I think they probably
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah.
I will probably
Before they give your room away.
be setting up still at 9 o'clock when you get in
Oh,
there.
I know.
But I don't expect anybody. Like it'll be fine. I can do it. I set up Origins pretty much. Most of it by myself and then once everybody arrived, they gave me a hand, and if I get there early, that's what I usually do.
Yeah, be good.
I see it. That's the other thing. Like if I'm moving on a train or on a plane, I can't sleep well. Like I will fall asleep.
Dude, you can't sleep well even when you're not moving.
This is true. But Ben can attest. When I get on a plane, I'm usually out like within the first 30 minutes.
It's true. He did just kind of close his eyes and lean over.
I just kind of just zone out. So on a train, no, I don't want to do that for 10 hours. I mean, I've done it. It's fine, and I love hanging out with Ben and Jordan and Margaret and everything.
You could not stand that train after 2 hours. You were pacing around the aisle. You were like, "Let me out! Let me out!"
It's just the way my brain works. Like I always have to stay. Like I'm usually staying busy. Like even when I'm teaching, like a lot of times, the class will be working on projects, and I'll have to get up and walk around the class just to stay because otherwise I just don't feel like, and even the students call me out on it. They're like, you can sit and just rest, right? I'm like, yeah, but no, I'm not. I just
can't sleep. Clowns will eat me.
Aaron says, what work will Doug be accomplishing on the plane though? I'll probably start editing because I've got some proofreading and some editing to do for a couple projects, and then after the first 30 minutes, I'll just fall asleep for an hour or two. And that's and then I'll wake up and it'll be like, oh, time to get off the plane. Aaron says, I think we call it ADHD, Doug. Maybe. I mean, that's I'm not gonna say it's probably not, but Vanderbeest says, I snore on a plane. You're welcome, first class cabin.
Oh yeah, that would be the one thing. If I ever come to a con with you guys, I need my own room. You will literally be shaken to pieces by my snoring.
Good to know.
Actually, room me with Doug. Doug's not going to sleep anyway, so you can just listen.
I usually don't. I don't.
I'd just be marveling at the weird noises that I make while I sleep.
Although I will say I roomed with Ben at Carnage, and Ben actually, I didn't want to be rude and stay up and keep Ben up. So a lot of the time when Ben went to sleep, I did read a little bit on my phone, but after the first 20 minutes or a half hour, I usually shut it off and I went to sleep, which is usually pretty rare for me.
And it felt good.
What's that?
Felt good. It felt good, right, Doug?
No,
granted, rest.
I did lay there for an hour or two, just
staring at the ceiling, wondering why.
No, I usually shut my eyes, but I probably did get a little more sleep at that convention than I usually do, just because usually at a convention, if I get 4 hours of sleep, then a night, that's pretty rare. So
if you wake me up on 4 hours of sleep, you won't make it home.
I won't make it
3-2-1
home.
rules. Vanderbeest is right. The 3-2-1 rules.
Yeah.
3-2-1 rules. What's the 3-2-1? 3 meals.
3 hours of sleep, 2 meals, 1 shower is how I've always done it.
Is that how it is?
Yeah. Maybe he's got the meals and shower.
I think
the meals and sleep
showers,
reverse.
3 showers, 2 meals, and 1 hour of sleep. That's
the Doug Shoot way.
Yeah, that's
the Doug Shoot way.
Where's Doug? He's in the shower. 2 hours later. Where's Doug? He's in the shower. What?
Where's Doug? He had to take a shower after the expo hall. I will say that I am one of those guys that if I work at a convention, I'll shower in the morning, and if I know that I'm going out for dinner or something for an event, I will shower once the convention is over.
That's normal.
Okay, so I'm not totally crazy by showering twice. Okay.
I mean, you don't have to jump in there and scour every inch of your skin, but at least clean yourself off, freshen yourself up, that kind of thing.
Okay. All right. This post-credit chat is on way so long. Let's.
We went this way, and then we went that way.
All right.
This is what happens when Barney's not here to rein us in.
No, right?
This is what happens when you let Doug run the show, because he's got his GPS on car mode.
Just wait, Jason. Just wait.
If you try to navigate us anywhere, I'm taking your phone.
It's gonna be epic once you finally come to a convention.
If you make me walk 3 blocks out of my way to get to a spot that I can literally see from my looking left, I will probably hurt you.
I'm not saying that happened, but it might have happened.
All I'm saying is bring your own phone and double check.
I am the picture of efficiency when it comes to navigating through buildings and stuff like that. I'm like, A to B is this many. Okay, I go here, I go around here, I do that, I do this. I'm not like wandering about.
Aaron says you talked about Marvel stuff. We're waiting for the after credit
bonus scenes. Yeah.
Got to run the second credits.
I wish that they would just be upfront and say, you know what? Like at any time a Marvel show ends, TV, movie, anything, just like bang, there's 2 after credit scenes. Watch till this point to get them. Good for you. Like, don't make me sit there through, like, especially with these latest Marvel movies where the credits are like a half an hour long themselves because there's so much special effects and stuff. I don't want to watch all of that.
Have there been like credits where you've watched all the way to the end and it hasn't had some sort of some sort of teaser or something?
Well, in Loki, a couple of times there was some mid-credit scenes, and then I still waited till the end to see if there was more.
Oh,
I'm weird in that I was staying for the entire movie credits before mid-credit stingers were a thing. I like watching the names and the jobs go by.
If I really like a movie, I will do that. Like when we went to see Lord of the Rings in the theaters, I sat through the entire thing of credits because you know what? Those people made an amazing work of art, and they kind of deserve your momentary attention. Even if when they did the backers that did that crowdfunding thing, when they had all the backers' names coming up, I was like, even on a 35-foot tall screen, I'm like, huh? What's that say?
All right, folks, that's going to do it. I'll see you at PAX Unplugged. If not, then I'll see you next week. Bye for now. Excelsior.
Ooh.